before he's got a chance to talk to the boys, Ben Johnson pulled his players into a group and said, look, boys, this isn't good enough. Cleared everyone else away, laid down the law. They're really worried about Dean Siakula, so someone's got to tag him because at the moment he's just getting off the leash. And also tackles. They've targeting 20 tackles a quarter, only got 9 there, so they've certainly got to pick up that work rate. And Andrew Tranquilli said, look, now it's showtime. Now it's our chance to kick some goals.
Underway in the second term from Tormore Reserve. It's Mulgrave by 33 points, but it's Doncaster who win their first clearance for the afternoon. Anarchis towards centre half forward, holding on. A free kick's been paid. The mark was taken anyway, and Jarvis has taken the mark on the second bite, but he was held on and stifled there. But a great forward presence there from the Sharks, Andy.
Yeah, look, Andrew Tranquilli kept the boys in at a quarter time for quite a length of time, and obviously wanted to round the message home. And so far, if this goes through, the message is coming across loud and clear.
Greg Jarvis to kick Doncaster's first major of the afternoon. He's pushed it, well, he's hooked it to the right immensely, and it's gone out of bounds on the full. This gives us an opportunity to introduce our next special comments man, Doncaster East coach Steve Buckle. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Pleasure. Very happy to be here.
Yes, it's certainly an interesting contest. Just quickly, are you surprised by Mulgrave's start?
Yeah, very surprised. Actually, look, I thought Doncaster would come out and take the ascendancy, but they haven't. Mulgrave started really well and used the breeze to their advantage, so it'll be interesting to see if Doncaster can hit back this quarter.
Well, the Lions again moving it out of defence, and they forced it out of play through Luke Parker, and we'll have a throw in 50 metres around from the Sharks' goal, outer side of Tormore Reserve.
Does look like a handy breeze going down towards that Baronia Road end, Damo.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be advantageous for the Sharks this quarter as Anarchis breaks free from the pack, sends a hacking ball towards full forward. It could beat all of the players on the last line of defence. Jabot keeps it in play for the Lions. Dipwell was composed in that situation. Kicks towards half back, but he's missed the target. In fact, chipping in there is Ben Kinnear for the Sharks. And he's 55 metres out from goal. It will probably test him, but with that wind advantage, you give him a chance.
Yeah, look, you certainly would give him a chance, but look,
no chance.
Look, it's all been Mulgrave, but let's see how Kinnear goes.
Kinnear from 55 metres out, sets sail towards the top of the square. The Lions have the tall timber of the numbers, and the spoil has come out the back. And chasing it over the boundary line is Leicester for the Lions, and we'll see it thrown in on the opposite pocket in the Sharks' forward line.
It's crossed down boundary side, thanks to Life Care.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Sorry, I'm in trouble with the wind here. Look, at the moment, the thing is, this ground tournament has been 10 games here this year, boys. The average total points is 118, so we know it's a big ground, and that you just feel it's not going to be a particularly high-scoring match. So there's always a chance for Doncaster to get back into it.
So Knowles drives the ball down towards the wing position. Schimmelbusch got a little handle on it. Malloy was in there for Doncaster, wrapped up by Siakoulis, who had a fantastic first quarter. Got a lot of zip and a lot of spark. Gladman went up unattended that time, and Anarchis got a little toe poke on it over the boundary line for another stoppage. So we've gone almost 3 minutes here in the second term. It's still a 33-point margin to the Mulgrave Football Club. They jumped out of the blocks in that first term. Doncaster with a bit of a breeze in this second term. Kinnear in the ruck, knocked it to Johnson's direction. Little handball over the top there by Anarchis, went into no man's land. The kick goes up towards the wing position now to Mulgrave, towards Booth. He couldn't take it on the second bite. McKenzie comes in and will have a boundary throw in. True centre wing position out here at Tormore Reserve. Plenty of time to get down here.
Yes.
And see a good game of football. It's Division 2 at its best today. Cutthroat final. Who will go on next week? A shocker of a throw in there by the umpire, but enough now by the field umpire to say, do it again, young fella. So that's what we'll do. It's a bit of a stunned crowd, let's be honest, as umpire brings it back in. McKenzie palmed it down. Johnson just knew how to read the football well there. Little handball away to Fiore. He's turning himself into trouble. Kick on the left boot. Goes up towards the half-forward line now. Bouncing football over the top of Galache's head. He was clever enough to pick it up one way, then the other. He'll swing around on the left boot. Good centering kick if they could take the mark. The flyer in the back was Coleman. He might still be able to trap it, Coleman. Bouncing football, right forward pocket. He tried to get it out to Peduto, but to no avail, and now Mulgrave will have a chance to move forward.
Coates takes the loose ball. The hand pass was partially smothered by Siakoulis, but to no avail as West roams along the centre wing position here at Tormore Reserve. Looks for Gilling, couldn't take it on the half volley and forces it out of play on the eastern side of Tormore Reserve, right on centre wing. Steve, I'm interested to hear, how do you think Doncaster can get their way back into this game?
Well, I think they've got to keep the ball out that side of the ground at the far side and attack from there. If Mulgrave keep forcing them back over to the other side, then they're going to find it very hard to score, I think.
Kinnear wins the tap out, but only as far as West at ground level, who forces it forward for the Lions. In fact, they're going backwards to go forwards here. An interesting ploy, but it's been successful so far as a dribbling kick from Willsmore will see the boundary line eventually as West forces it over again on centre wing. Right in front of the picturesque Dandenong Rangers here at Torball Reserve. It's a fantastic sight. Get down here if you're in the area to watch a cracking contest of local footy. Kinnear wins the tap out for the ruck contest. Anarchis was stripped of the football. Roper tried to break his way through. Peduto got the hand pass out. Chance now for the Sharks. Kick towards centre half forward. Brilliant mark on the dive.
Catch.
It looks as if it was Galache with the slips catch, as you called it, Andy. He can go back and have a shot on goal from 55 metres out directly in front.
Well, to say they need this is an absolute understatement. It's me being captain obvious here, but look, to Doncaster's credit, they've come out better in this second quarter. There's more intensity, there's more directness about their play, and let's see how Galache can go here.
Well, they have shown more conviction. Let's see if Galache can convey that with this shot on goal from 55 metres out. Set sail towards goal. It won't quite make the distance. It's going to be forced through eventually for a behind. So only a minor score. Doncaster move on to 3 behinds. They trail Mulgrave 5-5-35. We got almost 6 minutes in the second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Steve, a number of times players have had a shot on goal already down this end where they haven't made the distance. Is that frustrating as a coach? Are you back your player in to have a shot, or should they be putting it into a more preferable position about 20 metres out?
Yeah, I think they've got to know their limits, and they've got to put it just at the top of the square. If they can't, if they're going to go back and back themselves and have a shot, then they've actually got to put it through. So we don't mind our players taking it on, but you've got to put it through once you have your chance.
So it's still across the half-forward line for Doncaster. We'll get another chance. Kinnear goes up in the ruck. Johnson at the fall of the ball. Dived on it. Knowles is in there laying a tackle for Mulgrave, and we'll have a bounce.
Also, Steve, if I could ask, in Mulgrave's perspective, they're going against the breeze this quarter. How would you instruct your players to play the game when moving the ball forward? Yeah,
absolutely. Come wide out to the roadside wing, and just play it up and down there all day, and just waste the quarter pretty much. Just keep it out this side, keep it at. I can see they're switching it now, but I'll be bringing it and playing it out the fat side as much as we can.
Well, Parker went to Gilling, who went further afield. They might get out of this as Gilling receives a handball again down the wing position. Another disappointing kick up towards the bouncing Jamo direction, but on the left foot now it will be Young. Inside forward 50, here he goes. It was a good kick in the end, and getting into position A was Pearson. Dropped what he probably should have taken in the end. Nicely scooped upon though by West. This way, that way, you want to get on the left. Handball was a little bit dangerous. They'll get a shot towards the forward pocket, leading out Daniel Stokey. Gets there in time, and he might be able to go on with it, Stokey. No one stood the mark, and then he kicked a shank off the side of the boot to the top of the goal square. They still might have the numbers there. Schimmelbusch dives on the pill for Doncaster. They're screaming for holding the ball. The umpire will come in and bounce at top of the goal square, or middle of the goal square now for Mulgrave.
Mulgrave shared that really well. I don't think Stokey backed himself from the distance, hence why he played on, but Mulgrave showing incredible intensity at the moment.
Booth knocked it back to favour his team. Going in hard there was Carroll. Couldn't quite pick the football up to get it away. Good tackle over the top there by West, and the umpire once again will bounce it. It's underneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 8-minute mark of this second term. Still a 33-point lead. The scores haven't changed since quarter time. Can Mulgrave get the first score here? Comes out towards the boundary line, which is eventually trickles over, taken by David Wazer, and we'll have a boundary throw in. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Inside 50 this quarter, 6-1 in favour of Doncaster.
And no score either, so that's disappointing for them. Stolen by Carroll, who just banged it on his boot and kicked it out of bounds on the full. So it'll be Eddie to have a shot from Mulgrave. He might be too far out here. He might kick it to the hot spot. You can see Mackenzie, the big ruckman for Doncaster, standing in the right position. Yora can come in for the fly from the side. The short passes on. He was looking for Wazer, then knocked away. Grocott will see it over the boundary line. In fact, that's Rumboldi, and we'll have another boundary throw in. So Mulgrave peppering in the last few moments. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern and streaming live on efl.org.au around the globe. McGarnis, third man up, got the knockdown for Doncaster. Schimmelbusch came in, stamped his authority on the situation, banged it out of that danger zone, bouncing football into the middle. They might get a little bit of luck here as Jamo put his teammate under an enormous amount of pressure there in Eddie, but they had some support. Picked up that time there by Cruz, goes out wide. That was okay. Gladman to Jamo. Short passes on, so coming out and taking the mark there is Stokey. Doing it in bits and pieces, but this is better. They're hitting the target, so ball about 65 metres out. Switch looks like it might be on into the middle of the ground where Gilling made space. He's come down from half back, so good running there on the right boot. It came off the side, but it's still in towards the Booth direction. Over the back there, almost taken there by Cheeseman. Booth just barged his way out of trouble there. He could have nearly been pink for holding the footy. Nicely done by Peduto. Got it back to McKenzie. He's in a bit of trouble, but the big man had time. He had poise, and he gets it away to Johnson.
Johnson from centre half back plays on. Eventually weaves his way around Siakoulis. Finds a target out wide to his ex-Collingwood teammate in Kadir. Hand pass over to Siakoulis. Now they're mounting an attack, the Sharks, but the kick was well off target. Jabot will see it over the boundary line eventually on the half back flank for the Lions, and we'll have a throw in on the eastern side of Torball Reserve. Certainly been a fantastic display from Mulgrave thus far in this game, even in the first 10 minutes of this second term, Andy, to nullify Doncaster's scoring.
Yeah, definitely. Look, Doncaster have, as I said, stepped up their game in the second quarter, but it's all for nothing if they're not going to put the score on the board, so they've got to be more damaging when going inside forward 50.
Labman wins the tap from the throw-in, but picked up by McKenzie. A snap on goal into the square. It bounces at right angles, and it's through for a minor score for the Sharks. They move on to 4 behinds. They trail Mulgrave 5-5-35 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Just at the old Tim May off spin there, but look... Doncaster, as I said, they just need that first goal. That's just to settle their nerves and, you know, make themselves feel like they're back in this match, because at the moment it's all looking a little bit haphazard when going inside their forward 50.
Yeah, Mulgrave have got their game planned perfectly, haven't they? Yeah, they're coming out the coach's box side. They're playing defensively there, and they're just wasting time at the moment. They're not scoring either, but Doncaster aren't putting any scoreboard pressure back on them either, so it's working well for Mulgrave at the moment.
Well, good umpiring sees the ball stay in play, and in position 18, Siakoulis takes it on his chest. So wing position here.
It's been immense.
Grandstand side, short pass. We've got to stop mozzing players. It was lucky because Daniel Stokey took it just inside the line. Backwards to go forwards. Booth, he's a long way out from goal. Doncaster won't mind if he's taking them out there. He might have actually moved into the ruck, the big man. Daniel Stokey again, getting a lot of the football. Short passes on Cheeseman. No, sorry, that is David West. Kicked a goal already in this game. So they go to the middle, then they go back out wide. So on the right boot, they go up towards the Gilling direction. That was a spearing pass and a good mark and lead too. So Gilling 55 metres out. Players screaming for it in Leicester and West, but he goes towards the forward pocket where a good lead by Jack Roper comes out and takes it about 40 metres out. Difficult angle, but it's surely a shot on goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic work by Mulgrave to just share the ball, to not pull the trigger too early, just to find that yard of space and that overlap. And now it's another shot on goal for Mulgrave.
Well, he had a few players square of the situation there, one of them being Booth, who was screaming for it. So fortunately let everybody down there with the kick off the side of the boot. We've been seeing a bit of that early in this game.
Yeah, that wind certainly is making an influence on the kicking so far. Boundary.
Cross down boundary side, thanks to Life Care, Braden Ingram.
Yeah, just on that, Damo, I mean, Doncaster, they're a lot more relaxed when they use the ball. Sorry, Mulgrave are, whereas Doncaster, they just didn't know what to do in that first quarter. A lot more inching play from Mulgrave, and it's certainly working. I mean, you can't understate how strong this wind is. It's certainly having a huge impact, and it's probably picked up from that 2 to 3 even more now.
So Gilling looks into the corridor. The Lions again trying to orchestrate an attack. Certainly have had the bulk of the possession despite their wind disadvantage. Kick out wide from Parker, finds the target at the end. They're 60 metres out from goal here, the Lions. A long ball into the hot spot. Big flyers at the back. Ramboldi forced the spoil. Umpire calls play on as a couple of Lions and Sharks dive on top of it. We'll let it bounce.
Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Doncaster have to rectify the uncontested possession situation 35-7 Mulgrave's way this quarter.
Booth tried to break the tackle with a don't argue. Siakoulis weaves his way through traffic. Did it well to Fiora, who did likewise. Tries to break through a couple of would-be tacklers. Gives it out wide with the hand pass to Carroll. Kick towards centre wing over the head of his intended target in Galache. Will he keep it in play? Yes, he does. A looping ball towards half forward. Now they've got space. A shot on goal from outside the 50. Muller, it's an unguarded square. And finally, the Sharks have their first on the board. They move on to 1-4-10, trailing Mulgrave 5-5-35. We've gone almost 14 minutes in this second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Great attacking, counter-attacking play there by Doncaster. Just caught the Mulgrave defence off guard, and finally they've taken their chance. And Steve Muller, fantastic goal there from the boundary. But look, if this quarter ends up being a bit of a nil or draw, that's obviously going to suit Mulgrave tremendously. So Doncaster really need to keep eating into this deficit.
Good use of the space too from the Sharks, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the first time they've looked like they've had some leg speed. Mulgrave look like they're all over them at the moment with their covering the deck very well, and they're spreading a lot quicker and a lot better than what Doncaster at the moment. So if Doncaster can keep that type of brand of footy up, they should get themselves back into the game.
Well, they got the clearance through Anarchas, but Jamo's mopping up across half back there for the Lions, and they're moving themselves around the outer side wing. Parker on the right boot. It was a good kick up towards the half-forward line. Ramboldi was there. He made sure he had the time there. Got the handball away to Carroll, and now they link up through Johnson in the middle. Handball to Kinnear, back to Johnson, and now on the left boot, he'll send the ball inside forward, 50 towards the Lumacheesy direction. Over the top of his head it goes. Bouncing football. Young was there to help out. Little handball to Willsmore. He managed to trap it then very well then, and now Jamo. They're using that outer side of the ground pretty well here, Mulgrave. One bounce, handball over the top. It was intended there for Stokey. He took it. He was under a bit of pressure by the fly to the end, and then it comes out towards the Coates direction. A bit of buck around football here from both sides as we're moving towards the middle of the ground here. Umpires paid holding the football against Doncaster, so perhaps a little bit stiff that one. We haven't seen too many of those decisions yet.
25 metre. Yeah.
A bit of back chat. It's Grant Campbell, what's the free kick count at?
3-0 this quarter, but 14-3 for the match in favour of Mulgrave.
So again, Gilling comes down and takes the ball where he did about 5 minutes ago, so they've got to keep an eye on that. He drives the ball inside forward 50, bouncing football to the way there of Fredericks. Turned himself into a little bit of trouble, but got the handball away to West. West got it over towards Siakulas. Short pass back to Gilling, who could almost kick it from here. He'll have a shot from about 55 metres out.
They need to do something about Gilling. I think Doncaster is starting to rack him up.
Fredericks is short if he wants him. He wants to go towards the Booth direction. The one-on-one situation, holding from McGarnis. It doesn't matter because the big man just sticks out the 1 mid and takes it on the third bite. So Adam Booth will go back and have a shot for Mulgrave's 6th goal in this match. So, and his first of the afternoon.
That was just brute strength there on that occasion.
Too big, too strong, and be interesting to see how this shot goes because it is against the wind.
So, sorry, he kicked a goal in the first term. This is an important kick, and
Touch.
once again he's kicked it into the man on the mark. We've seen that a couple of times already today as well. Doncaster, they might be able to mop up here through Ramboldi, just booted it out of the danger zone, out towards the Young and Roper direction. Young's the man to meet it. On the right boot, short pass, Brad Fowler finds himself across the arc. 50 metres out from goal. I think it might have been Parker that time. Gilling once again in that spot, takes it at centre half forward. So, well, surely it's evident to a few people out and about and around this game today, but Gilling, well, he'll certainly make him pay if he can put this one through.
Steve just called it. You know, the Doncaster needed to do something about Gilling. He was all on his own. He was 20 metres in the clear and took an easy, uncontested mark there.
Well, he's not looking overconfident. He's kicking into a bit of a breeze. Once again, gets very close to the man on the mark. The ball's going to sit up. It's drifting to the right-hand side. So minor score is the result. Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 17.5 minutes gone in this second term. Mulgrave 5-6-36. Very handy 26-point lead over Doncaster. 1-4-10.
Ben Johnson to bring the ball back into play. Certainly a probing kick. He tries to wheel his way around from full back, ran and gained some extra meterage, kicked to Fiora at centre half back. Now they're moving it through the corridor here, the Sharks. Mark taken by Anarchis, deep in the centre of Torball Reserve. They want to regain that free-flowing movement that we've seen so often.
Too slow from Anarchis. They had to keep the ball moving.
Indeed, as Johnson receives it back again from Parker. Kick towards centre half forward, looking in the Fiora direction, who's drifted down forward. Stokey stripped it off him. Brilliant play there from Parker of the Mulgrave variety. Managed to break the tackle. Kick towards centre wing. Finds Fowler on the outer side of the ground. Weaves his way past Colladeri. Now kicks inboard and finds his intent to target him. Parker again. He's had a couple of touches in the last couple of minutes. And kicks towards full forward. Doncaster have the numbers. Courageous mark in from the side. Zach Carroll. And that's a relieving piece of play for the Sharks. Kick towards centre half back. Kinnear takes the mark.
Take off.
So Kinnear looks towards centre wing on the western side of the ground. Diving forward there, Anarchis weaves his way out of traffic. Kick was partially smothered, didn't gain any meterage whatsoever. And a gang tackle rather is effective for the Mulgrave players and will have a bounce.
But again, it's the wrong side of the ground for them, boys.
Yep.
They've got to go out the other side.
Exactly right. So McKenzie wins the tap from the knockout. Johnson twirls his way out of trouble. Back it comes to McKenzie with the 1-2. Sends a torpedo towards the centre-half forward line. Here's Peduto. He was dumped as he kicked the football. Gaining it there is Young with the intercept. Chips the pass over the top, and the mark has been taken on the outer side by Parker once again. Looks out wide. Finds his intended target in Fowler, but he dropped what he should have taken. Over the top there is Carroll. Tries to barge his way through. Collinari dives in after the football. West was collected by his own teammate. Got the hand pass out to Stokey, goes backwards in the centre of the ground. Gilling confronted by a couple of Sharks, but he regained his composure, Dick Gilling. Got the hand pass out to Fredericks. His kick was partially smothered. It's a comedy of errors at Torborg Reserve. Kick towards centre-half forward. Spoil came at the back from Schimmelbusch for Doncaster. At centre-half back are the Sharks. Marganis tries to barge his way through. Lost it. Look away, hand pass. Comes to Siakoulis. Was pushed off as he kicked it. Hand pass eventually comes back. The kick from Fowler towards full forward. West on his own. Takes the uncontested mark. Can stroll in outside of the boot and hit the post.
Boundary.
That's their boundary side. Mulgrave by 27 points. Braden Ingram, thanks to Life Care.
Damo, we mentioned Dean Siakoulis at quarter time. The issue for him is he's got a tag that's gone to him, Mark Peduto. The issue is he's not really doing a genuine hard tag. He's going to him at contests, but in general play, Siakoulis is too quick. He's getting him away. They've got to contain him because he's getting too much of the ball.
Aaron Fiora, he stopped, he propped, and then he kicked over the paint out of the goal square, and they're just those things that are unforgivable in a final, Bucksy.
Absolutely. It's the 1%ers that you don't want to see.
So the ball will be bounced, or thrown up, I should say, only 10 metres out from the Mulgrave goals. They've yet to kick a goal in this term. Doncaster with just the one. They've pulled the margin back a little bit. Pye throws it up. Knocked down, and Narcus once again sees it over for rush behind. That's their 8th on the, that's their 5th, I should say, on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 1-5-11 to 5, sorry, no, I was right. 5-8-38 to 1-4-10. Johnson brings the ball back in. Out towards Muller. Used his body pretty well then, but a couple of players came in to force a little bit of pressure. Still over the football there, Muller. Eventually brought to ground by Fowler, and the umpire will bounce it 55 metres out from goal. 21 and a half minutes gone. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap.
Mulgrave 58 uncontested possessions this quarter, but Doncaster only laid 8 tackles.
So Anarchis receives a handball from Johnson. They're getting a lot of the football. It's just, I don't know. It's
not a lot of fluency in their play, is it? And they just don't seem like they have all that much time on the ball, and that's a credit to Mulgrave's pressure, you know, when they've obviously not got possession.
Pye brings the ball back in now. Gladman over the back to the favour of Eddie. Handball over the top to Siakoulis on the right boot to the top of the goal square. The ball sits up, nicely knocked away and safely by Jay Pearson, and through for another rush behind. Mulgrave 5-9-39. Back out to a 29-point lead here. Doncaster 1-4-10. We've gone 22 minutes gone in this first semi-final.
So the Sharks bring it back into play. It was a floater off the boot. It was a chaos ball that evaded all players. Fiora gained it at the back, at centre-half back. The Sharks move it through the corridor once again. Hill receives the hand pass, but eventually loses it. The umpires picked out a free kick. It's going the way of the lines for a throw. And the recipient again is that man, Dean Siakoulis. Looks out wide, finds his intended target on the half-forward flank. The chip pass, well, it evaded the intended target in Wazer in the end. He's frustrated, and the ball bounces out of play right on the half-forward line for the Lions on the western wing here at Torborg Reserve. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM or streaming live on efl.org.au. As the throw-in takes place, McKenzie won the tap out. Johnson had pace to Bird, eventually evaded a couple of lines, got the hand pass out. It missed the target. That was from Pearson towards Anarchis, and it falls out of play. 60 metres around for the Lions' goal. A good contingent here of both sides in terms of support here at Torborg Reserve. Certainly a fantastic day out. 22 degrees the temperature. Perfect day for footy as Johnson tries to break through the pack from the ruck contest. He's gang tackled and will have another bounce. So still 70 metres around from the Lions' goal. They certainly have done the bulk of the attacking, despite the fact they're going against the wind. Johnson was stripped of the football. Hand pass comes out from Knowles to no one in particular, and eventually trying to keep it in play is Roper. He's unsuccessful. We'll have the ball in right on centre wing, but Steve, it's looking more and more ominous for Doncaster. The less scoreboard pressure they have with the winds, that they're going to fall further behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time Doncaster get the footy, there's a Mulgrave bloke right on his back, and there's just There's pressure everywhere coming from the Mulgrave boys. They're carrying the game plan out well. They're attacking from the right areas. So I'm actually going to find it tough for Doncaster to get back into this game.
Well, and that was exemplified there where a free kick was paid to the Lions. Had the 25-metre penalty, so certainly undisciplined from the Sharks. And it takes them to half forward. The mark taken from the chip pass by Fredericks. Looks for Stokey. Brilliant play. That could inspire them. That was Anarchis coming in from the side to take a mark floating across the pack. That was courageous.
That's what Doncaster need. They need a bit of leadership. Someone to just take charge of this game and get them back into the contest, because at the moment they're just not in it.
So Anna's boy, Chris Anarchis, gets it to Fiora. It was a sloppy kick, but Mackenzie had time. Swung around, got it to Johnson. They're backtracking a little bit here, Doncaster. Eventually kicked to the far side of the ground, which might work out okay here for Boldy. Oh, he was put under a lot of pressure there by Eddie, who won the football in the end, holding the football. Wants to go on with it, but he'll have to go back over the mark. So David Eddie, just get the sense if Mulgrave can get a goal, it is danger, danger. Knowles on the right boot, set sail for goal towards the Wazer direction. Could the little man beat the big man? He took it at the fall. The ball rushed through for one behind by Zach Carroll. So that's number 10 for the Mulgrave Football Club. 5-10-40. It's a 5-goal lead. Doncaster 1-4-10. What's the message you give the boys at half-time going in at 5 goals down, Bucksy?
Right, you just try to take stock again and try to settle them. And now you just have to try to hold Mulgrave with Mulgrave obviously kicking with the breeze next quarter. So you just have to hold them and just try to chip away at the lead. You don't have to wipe it all off at once going into, coming in at three-quarter time. Just give yourself a chance to be in the game.
So you'd be looking to peg yourself back to a couple of goals in the next term?
Yeah, really try to lock the game up. Really make it a scrap, which is what Mulgrave have done this quarter to Doncaster. So just try to do that exactly back. And then, just give yourself a chance to get maybe 2 to 3, possibly even 4 goals down. It's a pretty strong breeze out there. It's about a 4 or 5 goal breeze.
So Schimmelbusch went short to Mackenzie, just worked so hard, the big man. Got it on nicely there to Carroll, arched the back and then banged it on his boot up towards the half-forward line. Lumachese just can't get around it. He was held without the football then. The umpire didn't see it. Nicely picked up there by Coates, and they'll be able to run this one out the lines. A skew-if kick, though, found them in the arms of Daniel Stokey. He wanted to go on with it, thumped it on his boot up towards the Cheeseman direction, right on his hammer is Schimmelbusch. He got a handle on it in the end, has to go after it again, going really hard. Darren Butler hit the football, and the umpire said it was all fair, boys, give it to me and we'll have a bounce right in front of the Doncaster interchange.
Certainly the physicality on show, Betty.
Well, that's certainly what you'd expect. It's Choose Tap Finals football. Do or die match. Johnson back to Carroll on the right boot. He was under pressure, but it might work out okay here because Colinari was running onto it. He did have time, and it was good talk by his teammates. Inside 50, the kick goes over the top of Lumachese's head. Jarvis is being held as well. Nicely done there by Gilling. He's been a rock of Gibraltar out the back for Mulgrave so far in this match. And now Booth mops up the big man from the half-back line, gets it out to Young on the left boot. They sometimes have used this part of the ground fantastically this afternoon. The kick goes up towards the wing position where Wazer takes it. I think it's West, in fact, as a siren sounds for half-time. So, well, it was a quarter of not too much excitement. So you might have come in and jinxed it a bit there, Bucksy, because the Mulgrave Football Club, they'll be happy with going into half-time with a 5-goal lead, 5-10-40 to Doncaster, 1-4-10. Well, gentlemen, what do we think of that?
I think it's a bit of a nil or draw that quarter, which completely suits Mulgrave.